There are more than 3,000 commercial facilities in Japan. While numbers drop in rural areas, they keep rising in urban centers like Osaka and Tokyo. Of course, since there are people in demand, commercial facilities are being improved. However, it's not uncommon for commercial facilities to misjudge demand and end up failing badly. In this video, I'll highlight several commercial facilities nationwide that became major failures. First, I'd like to introduce Granmall in Mizumaki City, Fukuoka Prefecture. When it opened in 2010, there were 80 stores, but now only the supermarket Lamu remains. Aside from that, all other stores have left, leaving the commercial facility struggling. Although I went there, there was nothing, and I couldn't enjoy it. Most areas are closed, so you can't walk around freely. Even the rest areas are closed. I don't get why. In 1994, just after the bubble burst, a commercial facility opened here. A total of 300 stores were planned to open, but the plan fell through. Subsequent plans also kept falling through, and finally, in 2010, the commercial facility finally opened, and that's the background. However, it never became popular, and the stores kept closing one after another. It quickly became obsolete. Inside, the corridors were easy to navigate like a neon mall, and the tenants weren't unique. The building was fine, yet this still happened. This shopping facility's location is just too bad. It's a 15-minute walk from the station, which is far, and even by car, it's hard to get in. The location is hopeless. It's surrounded and located in a place like a fortress. So from the outside, you wouldn't even notice that there's a commercial facility here. There are few signs, and you don't really know when to turn to enter Granmall. So you might just pass by without noticing. Now, they've given up on operating it as a commercial facility, and they're using part of the building for something suspicious. A perfect biotechnology center and amusement facilities have opened. I can only wonder why Ramu is still surviving. It's tough for commercial facilities in this area, and I'm curious about how they're going to fill the remaining vacant spaces. Next is Haneda Innovation City, located in Otawa Ward, Tokyo. It's one station before Haneda Airport. Opened in 2023, this complex includes research centers, commercial spaces, offices, a hotel, and the live house, ZEP. It's a facility that has everything you could possibly need. However, that's exactly why it gives off a half-baked impression, and there are hardly any people here. On days when a live concert is held at Zeppu, there are a lot of people. But other than that, it's always sparsely populated. There are also places that haven't been filled since the opening. There's also a food court, but I'm not really sure who their target audience is. Surugaya, an anime shop, opened here but has already closed. They've left already. Being so close to the airport may seem good, but people will just go to the airport instead. There are also shops at the airport. Also, since it's basically outdoors, being affected by the weather is another reason why people don't really gather there. The only spot with people was the footbath overlooking the airport. Because the area is divided up into so many small sections, honestly, it's difficult to specialize as a commercial facility. That's right. Honestly, it might be better to fill it entirely with offices and research facilities. If you don't focus the facility's purpose, this happens. It's tough. We'll have to watch what happens next. Keep an eye on this. Next is Naval Kadena in Kadena Town, Okinawa Prefecture. This is a commercial facility that opened in 1992, right next to a United States military base, and it was originally a Daiei chain. It was Okinawa's first store of its kind when it opened. Various tenants, such as Toys R Us, moved in, and the place was bustling with activity. It's now so empty that even calm children would cry. This is what it looks like on a Sunday. All the escalators have been stopped, probably to cut costs. Officially, they're supposed to be out of order, but I wonder what the real reason is. The only place that's actually attracting customers is the home center. The rest are in really bad shape. The pro wrestling arena that existed until a few years ago suddenly pulled out, apparently due to a dispute over rent. So it seems like they're not really coordinating with their tenants either. Naval Kadena is a medium-sized commercial facility that's not ideal for all-day visits or quick shopping trips. Medium-sized commercial facilities are having a tough time all over the country. Also, with major commercial facilities like Aeon Mall, Okinawa, and Raycom opening nearby, they're losing many customers. Likely another reason. Also, the facility is divided into 3 buildings, so moving around can feel a bit troublesome. Maybe because of salt damage. Even though it's only been a little over 30 years since it opened, the commercial facility looks pretty old and worn out, which is also a problem. That was a drawback. For medium commercial facilities, some ingenuity or a strong tenant can make a big impact. But things could change, so a comeback is still possible. That's how I feel. Next up is Shibuya Sakura Stage, located in Shibuya Ward, Tokyo. It's ideally located beside Shibuya Station. Shibuya Sakura Stage is a multi-purpose commercial facility that opened in 2024. This area used to have many small, long-established shops, and there was a need to strengthen disaster prevention measures and so on. It was considered necessary. After 10 years of working with over 100 experts and managing road closures and abolitions, a major redevelopment took place. It's a facility that a lot of effort was put into. However, even now, the tenants are not filled and the vacancies are noticeable. Rent is too high because it's a prime location, and redevelopment nearby is still ongoing. Because it's not a place people casually visit, some areas are completely empty, and the difficult situation persists. The inside of the facility is quite complicated, and it's hard to tell where you are, which makes it difficult for visitors. It's become a barrier. Commercial facilities are designed to make it hard to go outside, but if you overdo it, the place itself becomes somewhere people don't want to visit. Also, there are low-priced stores like Matsuya, as well as relatively high-end brands, so the tenant lineup is inconsistent. They didn't make a careless mistake. Tokyu Fudosan operates the facility and targeted wealthy customers in Kanto. There are many commercial facilities. Aware of Shibuya's customer base, they've added some lower-priced stores. While it's not meeting expectations yet, the location is undeniably excellent. If Shibuya's redevelopment advances, things will change. That might happen. Next is Hiroyoshi Kozenji in Hirakata City, Osaka. Surprisingly, it has the nickname of being Japan's lowest rated commercial facility. With a Google rating of 1.9, the old townscape was removed during station redevelopment, and this commercial facility opened in 2023. It aimed to create a lively atmosphere, but there's nothing lively about this place. All the tenants on the first floor face outside, and you can't access them from inside, which is quite a troublesome situation. The second and third floors are vacant. The empty tenants really stand out. They had to move out because of redevelopment. Local shops got priority to move in, causing clinics and pharmacies to be spread over several floors. So the tenant layout has become confusing. Most of the tenants are clinics and such. They're mainly pharmacies, so it feels like only a few shops in what is essentially a hospital. The lack of chairs inside the building is also a major reason why user satisfaction is so low. Anyway, there's just no motivation in the management. After being neglected, the website was eventually shut down and disappeared. From now on, resolving the issue of vacant tenants will probably become the top priority. With the completion of the high-rise condominium, which is currently under construction, as part of the same redevelopment and the increase in young families, the user base of the facility will change and the situation will improve. May be possible, but unless management acts, it's likely impossible. Just check the reviews on GoOgle. Things like worse than garbage. They're getting totally slammed. It's pretty interesting, so you should definitely check it out. Next is Nagoya, Italia Village, once in Nagoya City, Aichi Prefecture. This place has already been closed down, but even though they built such luxurious buildings, it lasted only a short time. The company went bankrupt in 3 years, and the commercial facility closed unexpectedly. Italia Village's main draw was its recreation of Venice, Italy, and the immersive atmosphere it offered. In the canal set up in the center of the facility, you could take a gondola ride. It also had features that distinguished it from a typical commercial facility. However, since the scenery was prioritized and many of the tenants were themed around Italy, it lacked the ability to attract customers. There were also very few restaurants, which led to long wait times. As a result, people felt that going once was enough, and it failed to gain repeat visitors, which led to struggles. Several issues came up: expansion costs, salaries, and property taxes. Many bills and obligations were unpaid. It was also found around the same time that some buildings in Italia Village were actually Japanese architecture. In the coastal area of Nagoya, wooden buildings are not allowed to be constructed. Even though there was such a regulation, the buildings were made of wood. It was a whole townscape. By the way, the management was aware of the illegal construction. However, they blamed the construction company at that time. However, just 3 years after opening, in 2008, the operating company went bankrupt with 17 billion yen in debt. The company went bankrupt, closing Italia Village too. Only an asphalt lot and part of a plaza remain at the site, and the only thing still operating since the Italia Village days was the wedding hall, but it also closed in 2024. There's really nothing left to preserve, which is surprising. The history. Wasn't that one of the most outrageous facilities ever? Next is Tokyu Plaza Ginza, located in Chuo Ward, Tokyo. This commercial facility opened in 2016 in a prime Ginza, Tokyo location. The facility's exterior is modern and artistic. Pretty cool, right? While the restaurants and basement are busy and more active, the other floors are in poor condition. Inside, with maze-like corridors and the arrangement of escalators and elevators, once you go in, you can never get out. Maybe because of that, even though it's Ginza with so many people coming and going, the seats are mostly empty and you can sit wherever you want. Even though there's a floor with duty-free shops, there are no customers at all. There are more staff than shoppers. In Ginza, where so many foreigners usually gather, how did it end up like this? The 7th floor is most striking, just a huge empty space. When it opened, Hand's chain stores were present but have since closed. After that, tenants would come and go, and now it's ended up like this. I won't do it because I'd get in trouble, but you could easily play tag here. Tokyu Fudosan, which operates Tokyu Plaza Ginza, has finally given up on running it. It was announced that in February 2025, it will be sold to a Hong Kong-based investment fund. It seems that in 2026, it will be reborn as a new commercial facility. Renovations to the facility will also be carried out. So how will it change? It's something to watch closely. Will the problematic flow of movement be changed, I wonder? By the way, Shibuya Sakura Stage, which I mentioned earlier, is also run by Tokyu Fudosan. Now let me introduce Tsuyama in Tsuyama City, Okinawa Prefecture. The third city, Tsuyama City, has a plan to become a compact city concentrating urban functions in the city center. It is a commercial complex that opened in 1990. The main focus of the compact city plan is Aruni. It was Tsuyama. 30 billion yen was invested, making it a truly impressive luxury commercial facility. Its main tenant was department store Tenmaya, with cultural facilities, a music hall, and a movie theater, but few people were present. Vacant spaces are evident. For example, many tenants have left entirely. The music hall owns all 3 of the world's top pianos. That's right, it's a really luxurious music hall, but it's only used once a month for free events, and there's nothing else they can do about it. Given the city's size, 30 billion yen was excessive, and people immediately criticized the unnecessary extravagance. The results have been terrible. The deficit was forcibly covered with tax money, but the mayor at the time ended up losing his job due to the backlash. The compact city has few train services and few users. It was difficult to achieve near Tsuyama Station. Tsuyama City has nearly 100,000 residents, but only about 1,500 people use Tsuyama Station daily. That's an unbelievably low number. The car-dependent society hasn't improved and stores are concentrated along the roadsides. However, the city maintains its compact city policy. However, there are many issues such as the low number of train users and financial burdens. I think it's probably better to give up. Because there's nothing in Netsuzan, it's been called the mountain with nothing. People tease it for that. The last is the dried up tide barrier in Minato Ward, Tokyo, originally. They redeveloped the large site of the former National Railway Freight Station. It now forms part of the tide barrier area. There's so little here that people joke it's a dried-up tide barrier. The tide barrier area hosts headquarters for top companies such as Nippon Television and Dentsu. The dried-up tide barrier is a commercial complex that opened in 2002 as part of the Dentsu headquarters building. Numerous restaurants and the Shiki Theater Company's theater are among the tenants. However, the area where the restaurants are gathered has many vacant spaces, and in some other sections, parts are even closed off. So it's in a pretty bad state. Nippon Television's presence led to expectations of many tourists in Shiodome, but hardly anyone came, contrary to those hopes. It seems that even when people come for the Shiki Theater, they just use the cafe and then leave the area right away. Thanks to the businessmen, we managed to hang in there. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, remote work has reduced the office population. In many companies, the attendance rate dropped and one store after another closed down. Since large offices were no longer necessary, it seems that many companies decided to relocate. The Metropolitan Expressway borders the redevelopment area to the east, the Japan Railways line to the west, and major roads run in all directions. The market stop acts like a fortress, making the town feel isolated. Many are questioning the original plan. The town's office vacancy rate is 10%. That's about average compared to before and after. It's rising, and the situation in the declining town could worsen in the future. So that's it. I've introduced 9 facilities. There are also videos that summarize each facility in detail. I'll put the links in the description, so if you're interested, please check them out. In this video, the popularity isn't that high. Here's a summary focused on these facilities. You likely learned about many of them for the first time. Many commercial facilities have recovered from tragic situations.